Yeah, I welcome you once again to this lesson of English. My name is Teacher Monday, and we are discussing P6 English. We are discussing P6 English, yes, term 3. Like we heard in the previous lesson, the topic is using a dictionary. So we are proceeding, and we have gone as far as opposites. We had a brief introduction about opposites last week, so today we want to continue with that chapter of opposites, where we are mainly looking at the formation of opposites. And this formation of opposites is mainly rotating around two words, maybe one word, maybe two, maybe three. Why do I say that? There is what we call a suffix. Where should I write it? Okay, we have what we call affixes. Affixes, small letter, yes. Affixes. We have, under affixes, we have what we call prefixes and suffixes. It should be and. We have affixes. Under affixes, we have two keywords, and these are prefixes and suffixes. What is an affix? What is a prefix and what is a suffix? An affix is a letter or group of letters added to a word to change its meaning. That's an affix. An affix is a letter or group of letters added to a word to change its meaning. Then what about a prefix? When we are forming opposites, we are going to use affixes. Affixes are both prefixes and suffixes. So what is a prefix? A prefix is a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning. And if you change its meaning, then you will have formed what we call its opposite. So we use prefixes to form opposites. Letters or groups of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning. That is prefix. Next is a suffix. What is a suffix? We have only one category on the board and in your workbook of words whose opposites are formed using suffixes. What is a suffix? If a prefix is added to the beginning, what about a suffix? Then a suffix is the opposite of a prefix. A suffix is added to the end of a word to change its meaning. It's also a letter or a group of letters. As you'll be seeing how we're going to be using them in formation of opposites from our activity today. Using prefix and. Now when I say prefix and, I don't expect anyone, no, what is a prefix? What is a prefix? It's not an insect. It's a letter or group of letters added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning, and in this case, to form its opposite. Word and opposite. We have the word here, countable. We're going to form its opposite. We are going to form its opposite using prefix and. The first one is countable, which changes to uncountable. Uncountable as its opposite. When you are writing these words, one of the most important things you need to master is that these words are formed using small letters and strictly no full stop. You are not required to use a full stop anywhere. So our opposite is uncountable. Like I've been telling you, you do not need to put a full stop because it's not a sentence. You do not need to use a capital U at the beginning because this is not someone's name. It's not a proper noun. Therefore, avoid capital letters at the beginning, avoid full stops at the end. Kind. Opposite of kind is unkind. Just use prefix and add the original words. Unkind. As guided. Next is happy, which changes to unhappy. If you are not happy, you are the opposite, and the opposite is unhappy. Lucky changes to unlucky. Unlucky being the opposite of lucky. Then comfortable, uncomfortable. What we show you here is what you're going to base on to make corrections, not corrections, to complete the activities you have in that workbook. On which page are we? Sorry, not for, I have forgotten to tell you the page. We on page 46. Yes? No, 45. Page 45 of that workbook is where you are. Specific changes to unspecific. That's all I can say about the use of prefix and to form opposites. This is always a summary of what we see in our workbook. So these are just like examples. The teacher has given you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 examples. Use them to complete the list you have on that page 45. I take you to the next part where we're using prefix dis for this to form given words. To change the given words to the opposites. Like changes to dislike. Then agree. If you don't agree with someone, we say you have disagreed. So disagree is our opposite of agree. Connect. Disconnect. Disconnect is the opposite of connect. Advantage is disadvantage. Disadvantage. Second last in this list. Honest. The word is not hop. Honest. If you're not honest, you are dishonest. Dishonest. Done. Lastly, respect or respect, which is a verb, is either disrespect, a verb, or disrespect, a noun. In the noun, the tone rises a bit. Disrespect. Then in the verb, the tone lowers a bit. Disrespect. Next is prefix mis, used in formation of opposites. Which page is that, teacher? This page is page 46. Page 46 is where we have formation of opposites using prefix mis or mis. Then use is the first word which changes to misuse. Quote, misquote. And interpret. If you don't interpret something well, we say you have misinterpreted it. So we say misinterpret. Check the word interpret. There is no E at the end. Check the word misinterpret. There is no E at the end. So be careful. Lead. Mislead is the opposite. Mislead is the opposite of lead. Then behave. If you don't behave the right way, we say you have misbehaved. So misbehave being our opposite of behave. Lastly, in that list, fortune, which changes to misfortune. Misfortune. Bad luck. Bad omen. Yes, that is fortune. Prefix in is our next category. And where do we find this? It's on page 48 of that workbook. Prefix in. This is the word that we are going to form its opposite using prefix in. A letter or letters, in this case they are letters, added to the beginning of a word to change its meaning, to form its opposite. That is a prefix. Efficient, in, plus the word itself, to form its opposite as inefficient. Correct, in, our prefix, plus the word itself, correct, and we are done with its opposite, which is incorrect. Then capable, incapable. Distinct, indistinct. It's a matter of adding the prefix. Indistinct. Yes. Curable, incurable. We have incurable diseases. Diseases you treat and you do not get cured, or you do not cure. Sane, the opposite of sane is insane. So insane is the same as mad. M-A-D. Insane is the same as mad. So insane is the opposite of sane. Sincere, insincere. I-A and Insincere. Active, the opposite of active is inactive. We have children in classes who are active, whereas others are inactive. Okay, that's all I can say about formation of opposites using prefix in. Using prefix in to form opposites. These things look easy. Yeah, they say a word to the wise enough. In fact, I'm giving a lot of examples. We don't need 1,000 examples about the use of prefixes. Okay, since we are only online, we are not near the teacher. Yeah, we can go as far as 6 examples. Our next category is that of words whose opposites are formed using prefix, still prefix IL. Yes, you add IL at the beginning of a word and you form its opposite. The first word given to us as the example that the teacher is liberal, which changes to its opposite as IL. Then you add this liberal, L-I-B-E-R-A-L. Making it double L. Why? The prefix itself has IL. The word itself begins with L. So this L plus this one makes it double L. So let's be careful. Illegal is I-L-I-B-E-R-A-L. That is illegal. Opposite of liberal. Then legible. Illegible. I-L-L-E-G-I-L-E. Illegible. Logical. Illogical, obviously. I-L-L-O-G-I-C-A-L. Literate. If you are literate, you know how to read and write. If you are the opposite of literate, then you don't know how to read and write. Literate has its opposite as illiterate. Double L1, we have IL, then the word itself begins with L, making it unavoidable to use double L in your opposite. Literacy, illiteracy, double L once again. Illiteracy. Illiteracy is a noun from the adjective illiterate. Illiterate people don't know how to read. Illiteracy. Yes, if you have illiteracy, you have inability to read and write. In other words, illiteracy means inability to read and write. Then illiteracy means ability to read and write. Illiteracy is the noun, illiterate is the adjective. Next is using prefix IM. Prefix IM to form opposites. Patient, him, then add patient. And the form the opposite as impatient. Next is mortality. IM, double M, not double M. IM, which is our suffix, which is our prefix, plus this M making it double M. I-M-O-R-T-A-L-I-T-Y. Immortality. Polite. I-M, polite. Small letters, no full stop. Probable, improbable. Proper. Yes, mathematicians have always taught you about improper fractions and proper fractions. So proper fractions are the opposite of improper fractions. Balance, imbalance. I-M, balance. Imbalance is the opposite of balance. Balance, which is a noun, not a verb. Yes. There's a lot of imbalance in the way things are shared. Okay, that is imbalance opposite of noun, balance. In the big mistake. The word was supposed to be pure. Then you form its opposite using I-M-P-U-R-E, which is impure. So impure being our answer. Let's look at the last category of opposites that are formed using prefixes. And in this case, we are looking at prefix IR. These normally begin with letter R. These words where we normally use prefix IR begin with letter R. Just like those that begin with letter L, we double R, now opposite. Just like we download the L here, the suffix is IL. The word begins with L. That means IL. The suffix is IR. The word begins with R. Meaning, we are going to use double R. And our answer will be irregular. Small letters, no full stop. Then, responsible. Opposite, irresponsible. Irresponsible. Relevant. What you're saying is not relevant, it is irrelevant. Double R. Irrelevant, lasting, not lasting. That last I can say. Reversible. What is reversible can be reversed. The opposite of reversible is I-R-E-V-E-R-S-I-B-L-E. Reversible. Not irreversible, sorry. Irreversible, not irreversible. Yes, there are people who write irreversible, meaning they are going to put A between S and B, which is wrong. Then resistible, not resistible, but resistible. Opposite, I-R-E-S-I-S-T-I-B-L-E. Irresistible. Irresistible. Then rational, lastly, which changes to I-R-A-T-I-O-N-A-L. Irrational. Last category of words that are changed to opposites, but this time we are using suffix. A suffix, not a prefix. And its suffix is that suffix less. At the very beginning of the lesson, the teacher defined the suffix as a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word to change its meaning. And in this case, we are using the suffix to change its meaning, to change the meanings of different words into opposites. Yes. Hopeful changes to hopeless. One word, hopeless. Merciful, merciless. Then hopeful changes to hopeless. I mean, everyone is there. Should not have repeated it. I missed my repetition, I can see. Okay, our next word is careful, which changes to careless. In other words, sorry, something I will tell you again. Painful changing to painless, as its opposite. Useful changing to useless. What do I want to say here? We have less replacing FUL, single L by L. Meaning, if this is an adjective, it was formed from a noun using suffix full. We formed hopeful from the noun help using suffix full. Still, we are forming the opposite of this adjective. We formed using a suffix full, but the opposite is formed using suffix less. You replace the suffix full with the suffix less to form the opposite. Ladies and gentlemen of tomorrow, this is where our lesson is ending. But my prayer is that you use the examples as given on the board to complete all the work you have in the workbook on those pages. You can also go ahead to page 50 and answer those questions because they're also about opposites, which we have been looking at. I'm sure this workbook does have everything to do with opposites, but the teacher in his lesson, his activity, in his exam is free to ask you to write the opposite of any word. The moment you encounter such a question or you come across such a question, the teacher is asking about the opposite of this and that. You are going to refer to the dictionary because dictionaries have more details about opposites than what the teacher can provide to you. So next time I come back here, we'll be discussing abbreviations as shown on page 51. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.